Today in Batman Miniatures game, we're looking at crews. A normal game would have two crews, one crew for each player, of an equal value of points and dollar value. The standard game is 350 reputation points, which is the currency for purchasing a model, plus $1,500 worth of equipment bonus. So that's the to represent ammunition and some other special effects and equipment handed out to the henchmen. There are two ways of producing a crew. The first one we're going to look at today is out of a bat box. The bat box sets are an economical way of collecting a whole crew, which automatically takes it to the 350 rep and under or equal to the 1,500. The crew we're looking at today is the Joker crew. So this is straight out of the bat box. So part of crew building, you have a leader, and obviously in the Joker, the leader is the Joker. But in the bat box set, the sidekick is a rather obscure character called Gaggy. Then a number of henchmen. Some crews have low-cost henchmen and are therefore a great many of henchmen. So you'll see in this one there's a few that are over 20. Or on the cursed at 50. And for these models that have weapons such as nail guns or assault rifles or grenades, usually weapons that are throwing weapons or missile weapons, they come with a dollar value. So there's $1,000 worth of value out of the henchmen in the crew for the Joker. Now part of the crew building is also building some objectives that are required. During the game, the purpose of the game is to seek out the objectives, either to stop the opponent's objectives or to hold on to your own. And once you've got your models, then you also select your objectives. So what we have here is a physical representation of what a Joker crew may look like. Joker, Gaggy, and the henchman. Because there was $1,000 taken up, we have some left over to purchase some equipment. Unless specified, the equipment can only be given to henchmen. But in this instance, you'll see that it can be taken by a leader or sidekick. And objectives. Some objectives come in pairs, and most are individual. In this instance, the objectives chosen are medical, ammunition, and the Joker crew, or the Joker gas. These extra ones here, the ammunition and medical, to the controlling player, so in this instance to the Joker crew, because it's their controlling objectives, they get 3 victory points each time one of their models is near it or attached to it. Having many models is useful. There are some crews that have considerably less models and may be at a disadvantage, and that's part of the strategy of crew building. So this is a bat box set, straight out of the bat box. Obviously put together with a slap of paint, but it's a complete crew. Okay, next we'll be looking at something that's a little bit more custom. So the other example of building a crew is just by putting the models together and working it all out. With the Brave and the Bold, or the Law and Order, or Arrow crews and Batman crews, there's no actual bat box as such, so you need to start building a collection of models in order to be able to get the right crew together. There's a couple of other crews that don't have bat boxes yet, but surely they'll end up doing something in the future. Always hanging out for the Mr. Freeze bat box set. So what we've got today as the leader, Arrow, and it's an older Oliver Queen Arrow, but it's still valid and it's all good. Just print it out in the new format. Sidekick, Batgirl, Henchman, ever trusty Diggle, Agent Ron, and Gotham Policewoman. And as the free agent, Huntress. So as you can see, there aren't that many models by comparison to the Joker crew, but they each pack a punch. Generally, the Law and Order crews will be more hero and character intensive, so there's a lot more heavy lifting required. Now, the other benefit of a bat box is that all the cards are available. These actually come from, this one comes from a different set, but has the same rules and cost. So this is for Oliver Queen, he gets a special rule, and just using a simulated rule just to keep the cards together. Sometimes it can get difficult knowing what rules are for which characters, so using as many of these cards as possible. And that brings the total to 1,500 and a crew of approximately 350. I think it's 348 or 349. Physically, looks like this. And the chosen objectives: medical, Wayne Tech, and ammo. So for the owning players, similar sort of deal as before, you get some extra bonuses if you're the controlling and owning player. It's a fair bit of movement with some of these heroes, and they're going to need it if they're up against 9 models. And that pretty much brings up on that. The key thing to remember is you must have a leader who will have the little bat symbol, bat cow symbol. You can promote a sidekick to a leader if you want to. And if you have a leader, then you can have one sidekick. So by promoting one sidekick to become the leader, then you can have another sidekick. So this Batgirl as a sidekick could have a Robin, Dick Grayson as a sidekick, second, or something along those lines. You can't have the same name, so you can't have Barbara Gordon as a free agent and as a sidekick. So you need to make sure that they're all unique. But some of these more unknown characters, they're allowed to have a couple of different models in some instances. So it's pretty much just build a bunch of characters as you like. Don't worry about being competitive when you're trying to learn the rules and get the game going. It's just about getting it all happening. Alright, so that's our people here. And I'm not going to discuss the special teams they've got. Brought it, but I mentioned it, but I'm not going to go into any detail. Crews are the primary way that the game is played. 350 rep, 1,500 in funding for equipment and models. and 3 objectives. Alright, so thank you very much, and hopefully we can move on with going through how the start of a game works. Thank you.